Hello, can everyone hear me? We're good. Okay. Hello, it is 5 p.m. on January 9th, 2023. Yay, Happy New Year. This is the Monday regular board meeting for the Monroe School District. Present are Director Whitfield, Director Barnes, Director Campbell, and Acting Superintendent Dr. Marcy Larson, executive staff, members of our staff, as well as members of the community. I want to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting. Members of the public can log into the regular board meeting using the Zoom link on the Board Docs website. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome to tonight's meeting. We are so happy to have you join us. All comments during tonight's meeting are audio recorded and will be available online on our website. This is in addition to the written minutes. Please understand that while it may appear the board is moving quickly on important matters, there have been previous discussions on these issues, either in earlier meetings or in board workshops, which are also open public meetings. Each director has had ample time to study the issues, ask appropriate questions, and obtain satisfactory answers from our superintendent, her staff, or through outside research. Okay, and we have a couple of late ads. We have agenda item 2.01, communication to the board. We have agenda item 5.02, attachment of the JROTC estimated programs cost, and agenda item 6.01, the board member resignation and attachments. Moving on to agenda item 1.05, is there a motion to approve the agenda as modified?
Move to approve the agenda as modified.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the agenda as modified. All in favor, raise your hand. The agenda item has passed 4-0. Moving on to agenda item 2.01, communication to the board. This letter is dated June 3rd, 2023. Dear Monroe School District and Board of Directors, please accept this letter as my formal resignation from the Monroe School District Board of Directors, from the Monroe School District Board, Director District 4 position. My resignation is effective immediately. Thank you. Kind regards, Sarah Johnson. So I will go ahead and actually read part of our policy. So per board policy, in case of a board vacancy, the remaining board members will fill such vacancy by appointment. The board will receive applications from any qualified persons seeking to fill the position after suitable public notice. Interviews of candidates for vacant positions will take place in a meeting open to the public. The board will appoint one of the candidates to serve until the next regularly scheduled board election, at which time a director will be elected for the unexpired term, if any, and the director position has to be filled within 90 days. I'll go ahead and comment first. Okay. I'm sad to hear that this Director Johnson is an amazing person. She brought a lot of razzle-dazzle to our group. I loved how informed she was, how invested she was, how much she loves our community, loves serving, and I have really enjoyed my time serving with Sarah and having her part of this family. And again, it makes me sad, but I wish her and her family all the best and all the luck in the world. And I'm really going to miss having her sit at my right and serve in this capacity with us. Yeah, she's awesome. I'm gonna miss her. Would anyone like to add?
I was just really surprised to see this had some different perspectives on different things, but I think that was one of the greatest things that made our board stronger because it represented different views of our community and extremely great, extremely dedicated school board member, community member, and whatever it is that she is for, I respect her, and I know that she is trying to put the priorities where they need to be. And I wish her the absolute best, her family the best. And big shoes to fill because she brought a lot to our board. Helped with a lot of really important and difficult conversations at times, but conversations that need to be had. So I was speechless when I got information, and I'm very sad that she's no longer on our board. But I do wish her the best. I will miss her.
Just say, well, I was stunned and I'm saddened. I'm really bummed out. I really enjoyed Sarah. She had a fun sense of humor. I echo what Dr. Campbell spoke about her. Sharp, always well prepared, keep me on my toes, and just sad that she's not with us anymore. It's unexpected, but I respect her reason. You guys haven't known, it's a difficult position being on the board. Few layers of stress, things go on, a lot of responsibility, and I respect her decision to resign.
I would definitely echo what my fellow directors have said. This was a big shock. It wasn't unexpected. Not how you want to start off. But I will say that the time getting to know Sarah is filled with a lot of good memories. There was definitely a lot of razzle dazzle, especially at WASD. There was some memories that would definitely remember. I respect her for sure. Nothing but the best of whatever she chooses to do. Wish the dark night that the time. I wish the great that the conversations. Just keep moving one foot in front of the other.
I would only add, she is so passionate about everything that whatever she is finding that is needing to take up her time going forward, she will be as passionate about that as she was about the legislative things and the curriculum things, the equity work, and all of those things. And I would agree, great sense of humor. And obviously, Sarah's still in our community, and I will bet, and I'm hopeful that she'll just be focused.
Thank you for that reminder, Dr. Larson. Okay. Moving on to agenda item 2.02. Laura.
Okay, there's actually quite a bit going on in Sky Valley, but I only have two things, or I have two things that are on our calendar. And one of them is the school meeting feedback center for Academy of Critical Thinking, and that is January 18th from 11:30 to 12:45, and that will be spaghetti, garlic bread, and Caesar salad. $5 per person and $12 per person. And then our other thing is the Sky Valley has started the kindness campaign that was started by me, and they have done big posters in the schools, and they'll be behind this experience.
The high school final stretch to semester break now. So we've got teachers and students just working to get the grades up before the very ends.
Keys? Key Club, oh, okay. The Key Club, you said? That was a mom joke. It's okay. Okay. Thought it was funny. Okay, awesome. And Laura, it sounds like you guys have gluten-free options. That's great. It's Caesar salad. Okay, good. We've got gluten-free and dairy-free options. You can opt for just the spaghetti, dairy-free. Go for the Caesar, it's gluten-free. Can't have both. Can't have both. Any other questions for Nathan and Laura? Thank you all. Thank you both so much. Okay, moving on to agenda item 2.03, audience comments. No audience comments? On to agenda item 3.01, JROTC. Okay, and it looks like the Monroe JROTC students are representing the program that is combined with Snohomish JROTC. And we have Shannon here, including JROTC students Josh Cruz and Joseph Powell.
So, hi, my name is Shannon Tarek. As you all know, I'm our Director of College and Career Readiness, and it is my honor to present. And they're going to run the show, so you don't get to listen to me talk this time, sorry. But introduce Cadet Lieutenant Joseph Powell. And with him is Cadet Sergeant Joshua Cruz. And then joining us, who might pop in a little bit, is retired Captain William Lennon from Snohomish. So I am going to pass it over to them and say thank you so much for listening to these guys. They're amazing, and it's a real big honor to get to introduce them.
Hello, everyone. As you just heard, I'm Joseph Powell. I'm a fourth-year cadet in the Snohomish MC Joseph program, and I'm a senior at Monroe High School.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joshua Cruz, and I'm Cadet Sergeant with the Snohomish Marine Corps Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps and a third year at Monroe High School. To start off with a basic introduction and overview of the program, JROTC is a leadership course primarily focusing on leadership first, with military aspects integrated throughout, with where it doesn't teach one subject. It teaches many subjects, which allows us as students and as cadets to both lead fellow students and also take those skills that we learn and integrate them throughout our life in the future beyond high school. It teaches us the meaning and importance of discipline and gives us the experience needed to lead our peers, and it builds a sense of family and camaraderie that no other class in Monroe and not many in the nation, I believe, can give us, especially those years in us in high school.
And I want to touch on more on the leadership focus on the JROTC program. It's like a leadership laboratory. We are taught leadership theory, and we are able to apply it within the classroom. In that sense, the class is mostly run by the cadets or the students. So they will teach classes, they will lead the younger students, and teach them how to be leaders in different parts of the program. And the instructors are more there to chaperone us and make sure nothing goes haywire. But our general week day-by-day basis is we go Monday through Friday. 2 of those days are academics. That could be, we could have a history lesson, we could be taught leadership theory, or we could be doing drill as well. 2 of those days are physical training. 1 of those days will be run by a cadet, so it's up to the students to come up with a plan for the class that they will put all the other students in the class through to train for the day, and those days is run by instructors. And on Fridays, we have an inspection where it's run by the cadets. They have a small little academic quiz, and it's up to the leadership within the class to decide what exactly is happening. And on those Fridays as well, not only are the classrooms run by students, the entire class is run by students. So every week there's a staff meeting at Snohomish where cadets come together and they plan
to kind of the aspect of what JROTC can affect all cadets in their future. JROTC, unlike what many believe it to be, is not a military recruitment program. It is a leadership first, where we simply learn leadership skills where we can apply to our lives every day in every future. It primarily focuses with some of the bigger points being small group leadership, as well as discipline, and even just those skills that not every person learns this early in life and make us really successful, like work ethic and that sort of ability to give positive feedback both to others and to receive it in return, especially when it's individualized, where you have to give feedback to certain individuals, because everyone takes feedback and criticism differently. That is, I would say, one of the greatest skills we learn as students in the JROTC program. Those are the skills that we can take from ROTC, but a lot of it is some of the other benefits. JROTC, when you go into the military, is one of those that it helps you further your career even faster. And as much as people would like to think, only about 20% of cadets actually join the military. Then another part of that is JROTC, they will write recommendation letters for you to either jobs or even service academies. JROTC itself proves that you are a leader, you have experience, and that you have the drive and self-discipline to make yourself out there and make sure your job is done.
I'd like to talk about the impact the program's had on me really quick. I imagine this goes for a lot of the cadets within the program, but for me especially, it taught me a lot about respect and professionalism, self-discipline, and how to have a good work ethic, which has really helped me a lot in my school life as well as my application to college. And something that applies here is to go to higher leadership positions within the program, you have to do interviews with other cadets. And that has helped me with my college applications. As I've applied for the United States Naval Academy, I've had to interview multiple times. So having done interviews before, in a slightly different aspect, but still having that rough guideline has really helped me with being able to prepare and myself for that, as well as not freak out, as well as it's helped me build confidence in myself, which is why it seems you should be up here and speak to all of you. But it has really just helped me, I believe, improve as an individual, and has helped prepare me for the future in so many ways that it would take me an hour to explain in any detail.
So with ROTC, the personal values and impacts, like I mentioned earlier, especially for us, unlike the normal high school schedule where you're going from A day to B day, different classes, ROTC is, as Hal mentioned, a everyday, 5 days a week kind of class, and that means that every day we take up our lunchtime and are bused up to Snohomish High School, and that for us is one of the greatest opportunities to just kind of bond and grow as a community and as people in the same class. One of the greatest questions, and one of the many questions I'm asked is, would I recommend this program to others? And I would say yes. Not even if you want to go into the military, or if that's something you're pondering. It's definitely one of the greatest ways I can think of adding structure and stability to your life, simply because you have that everyday experience. Then, along with ROTC, for me especially, is the extracurriculars that come with it. Every morning, ROTC at Snohomish High School provides a 6 to 7 competition drill team. It's just like any other team. We go to competitions. We have one as a first even, where we compete with schools around the region Everett, Marysville, Gig Harbor. It's one of those that it's not necessarily just like every sport, but it's certainly a sport for me.
One more thing with the program is there's a community service requirement as part of the grade. Now, initially that was just a grade that needed to be fulfilled for me, but as I started doing community service events in Monroe and in Snohomish, it really helped me become a part of the community, and I started enjoying it so much. I just do it on my off time as much as I can make room for it. And I feel like that's a really big part of the community aspect within the program. Not only do you build it with your fellow cadets, but you're able to go out to the community and build the bond with others and be able to help others as well. I just feel like that's a great thing to have.
That's me. So that is questions. There are. I would say so. It's definitely the highlight of my day.
It's definitely the class I've looked forward to most in my 4 years at the high school, because there's just always something fun that's going to happen one day or another.
I want to reflect on a few things that I heard you say. Cadet Pal, you mentioned has helped you in the development of respect, professionalism, self-discipline, leadership, community service. Cadet Cruz, you mentioned community, respect to others. It's not military recruitment, it's teamwork, it's leadership development, interdisciplinary work, where you have to learn to live as a team. And I was reflecting on the things that you, qualities that you're talking about, what this has done for you as young men growing up in our society, whether you choose to go into the military or you don't, go into the workforce, you guys are developing skills to build confidence. It creates a structure and a framework to function well in a world that has seen that completely for the last couple of years. And this is going to help you guys succeed and thrive. I wish I had more for our students. It makes me excited to see young men like you continuing that you know to thrive very well. And this is giving you the building blocks for whatever you choose. My best friend is a captain in the U.S. Army, and I've seen what that has done for him. And my college roommate did ROTC in college and is a lieutenant colonel in the United States Marine Corps. And he was a total goofball in high school. And I saw what it did for him. And he's an incredible leader today. That's not a rank that many people attain in the Marines because it's one of the smallest branches of the military as well. And not that that has to go into the military, but I see, having known these two gentlemen their entire lives, what this has done for them, it gives me a lot of hope, and I think it's an important piece and component we can offer for the students in our community, for our students. So it does my heart very good to hear that this is what you're getting out of that. It's very clear that you guys have great advisors that are in this class, and so I'm very thankful. I appreciate the time you've come and spent share all that with us tonight.
Glad we can be here.
How'd you guys hear about it?
For me, back in middle school, on my 7th grade spring break, I went to California and I visited my dad's cousin, who was a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps, and he was the squadron commander for the Black Knights. And I got to tour Miramar Air Base, and I got to sit in F-18, and I got to use their simulators, and I just fell in love with that as a career. And after that, I heard a little bit about ROTC for having to become an officer in that path. And my parents were looking at the classes that were given at the high school, and they saw there was a garrison program. I didn't know what it would be. My dad's cousin didn't know what it was about, so I just went to it. I had no idea what to expect. I just fell in love with it, and I've stayed ever since. But I really just found out about it through chance. Really glad that I have.
Well, mine's nothing as cool as sitting in an F-18, but I had a lot of friends growing up older than me. They joined the program, and me having a lot of military influences growing up, it was always an interest to me hearing about what JROTC was like. I have to say, it's definitely more fun and a lot more exciting than I originally thought it would be signing up. However, that is kind of why I signed up. And why I stayed wasn't just because of the excitement and the fun that brought to high school, but rather the opportunity to help benefit other students in the program, and as Pal mentioned earlier, as being staff members. We have the opportunity to make the program better and improve if not the lives, at least the daily hours we give the new cadets.
Now, were you both professional public speakers before JROTC, or is this something that has developed with, being in this class?
For me, I've had a brief history of public speaking, being in the Boy Scouts and Eagle Scout, as well as this not being my first time in this room speaking. So, not my first time, but certainly helped.
For me, it's quite the opposite. Going into my freshman year and the first year in the program, I was super quiet. I barely spoke a lot. And just as I've been in the program longer and I've been given higher leadership positions, I've had to come out of my comfort zone to be able to meet the other cadets and provide them with opportunities that I was provided with before. And that just led to being more confident in myself to be able to speak in front of people and follow.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. I've learned a lot from just listening to you both today, but I think it's really neat just to hear from your own experience. And so I appreciate you for coming in. I love hearing and seeing that. I interview a lot for a business owner as well. I had someone once bring in their girlfriend to an interview, and I thought, that's interesting. So I really love hearing that there are programs and classes that kind of teach on some of those leadership skills. And again, you two are really impressive. I think my voice shook the first time I was on this microphone, and I'm like, a mom at 3 and a little bit older than you, just a little bit. But thank you both for being here.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Cadet Cruz, congratulations on being a scout as well. That's no small feat.
Thank you, sir.
So it looks like you have Army uniform on. It must be built in all branches.
Yes, JROTC in itself in high school and its ROTC counterpart in high school, I believe is in just about every branch available except possibly Coast Guard and Space Force. Just locally, we have, I believe we're the only Marine Corps JROTC on the west side, but we do know of an Air Force one, but mostly Navy here in Washington. I think it gets a little more land-based once you move closer into the states.
Well, I'm very proud of both of you. It's a very nice presentation. I was in the Army. It has an impact on my life. But you guys didn't know if their uniform, the shoes, the iron goes down, the button on the front. The rank is specifically placed. Belt is in line. Button is zipper. I still use that tape. Is my belt buckle in line? That's something that's made of. It's kind of unfair though. That we're part of the ROTC. They knew all kinds of things. They knew so many rules, and so much basic knowledge. They were way better. We had to put our hair up, throw us in the mix. So it really makes a difference what the rules are. Wish you luck in it. So very proud of you.
Finish it up. It was amazing and wonderful to see you both here today and to hear how this program has impacted your lives and to see the men that you are. It fills my cup, fills my bucket. I love this program. I think that this program, I would love to see it expanded to any student who wanted to be a part of it because of the life-changing capabilities it is an absolute asset to this district and to Captain Will Lennon. I thank you for pouring into the boys in this community and for giving so much of yourself to make sure that this program runs and that it is successful, because we couldn't do it without you. So truly appreciate you. You two did a fabulous job. It has been a pleasure getting to know you, doing things with the VFW and serving and getting to have those conversations with you. I hope to have more of them in the future. Truly enjoy it. And I had a cousin who graduated from the Naval Academy about 3 years ago. He is a pilot, currently out in the ocean somewhere. His wife is also a pilot. He met her in pilot school after he graduated from the Naval Academy, and they have a daughter. So I know all about what goes on at the Naval Academy, and it is a great place. I wish you the best of luck in getting into the Naval Academy, and look forward to just seeing what the two of you do with your lives in the future and where this takes you. So very proud of the both of you, and thank you so much for coming and sharing.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
One more thing that we had talked about, and on behalf of these students and Captain Lennon, we want to thank you all for your support and how you've helped us keep this program growing, because it means a lot to both of these students as well as, I'm pretty sure, all of us that have any involvement in it, because it is an incredible program, and these two are exceptional, no doubt about it, but they're two of the entire program. So thank you so much for your support. It really means a lot.
Thank you. Okay. Moving on to agenda item 3.01, HYA Hazard Young Atea and Associates. And we have John Bash and Dr. Chris McDuffie here. Representatives from Hazard Young Atea and Associates will provide an overview of the superintendent search.
Sorry that you guys have to follow that. So impressive students.
You always do that to us. They are very impressive, no doubt. As was mentioned, Chris McDuffie, John Bash, and we are associates with HYA. It has been a distinct honor and pleasure to work with all of you since October on this very important decision for the board of directors and for your staff and your community. We, again, want to remind you and the community at large that this process is very thorough, extensive, as you know, and involves 4 phases. It's the engagement phase, the recruitment phase, the selection phase, and finally the transition phase. So we just wanted to brief you tonight as we move into the selection phase. And the slide that you see in front of you on the screen, just wanted to share a couple highlights. Again, we reached out to and heard from and worked with 41 different prospective candidates that were interested in Monroe. And we had great conversations. You can see the makeup of those 41 interested potential candidates. And we were really proud of the diversity represented in that group. Again, 30% of underrepresented groups, really important to all of us. And again, a great mix of in-state and out-of-state and current sitting superintendents and district leaders, et cetera. So felt very good about the potential candidate pool.
All right, similarly, this slide shows of that list of prospects, we did end up having 21 candidates complete and submit applications. And so again, the data you see on this slide reflects a similar breakdown as the last slide among those 21. And again, we had a pretty good mix there. What I do want to call out to the board and the community is that this particular pool included several experienced district leaders, not only current serving superintendents, but several district level administrators as well. And one of our goals was to make your decision difficult, and I think we've accomplished that here. The other thing is timing, and I want to affirm the board for their decision early on to get on with a comprehensive search as soon as possible once school started. And in doing so, you are clearly not only in the first wave of superintendent vacancies, you're pretty close to first place in terms of closing of the vacancy and screening. And that contributes to a pool like this of such high quality and highly qualified candidates. So hats off to you for being proactive.
So we move with you this evening to take a look at who to invite to semifinalist interviews from those 21 completed applications. We look forward to that discussion. Wanted to remind everyone that at this stage, the process remains confidential. And again, the reason for that is so that we did get a very complete pool of interested candidates. Again, for the audience or the community that may not know, it would be difficult for instance, a sitting superintendent to apply and put their current position and their relationship with their school board at risk potentially. So we know that we get a better slate of candidates if we keep it confidential just through this phase. Again, we're going to talk in detail about the finalist schedule, and that's when it becomes very public and we engage with your community again. But again, we'll be talking about who to invite on the 20th, and those will be 60 to 90 minute time slots, and we'll see how many rise to the top to be invited to this first round.
All right, and as Chris mentioned, we have scheduled with you our finalist interviews on Thursday, January 26th, and that'll mark a final opportunity for stakeholders to engage in the process. We have several groups that will be represented in different finalist interview activities, along with the day kicking off with school tours at 3 different locations. And those tours will be hosted by our building leaders. And we ask them, and I want to thank them publicly for taking the time to make sure they give candidates kind of a good taste of different programs in their building. And as they tour around, obviously they're going to have a chance to interact and engage, and then do some follow-up in providing the board with input, just like others will, as a result of this process. So in addition to those tours and different stakeholder group interviews, we also will have a community panel interview, and that will include several representatives from not only the community, but parent representatives from each school. And we'll be working with that group here soon to finalize a set of interview questions based on their input. And then the school board will host another finalist interview. The public input portion of the finalist process is during that community panel interview, so we will be broadcasting that. And right now, the plan is to also make an in-person opportunity available for folks that want to come and observe. We will be using an online input tool for folks to share feedback with the board on each finalist candidate, and we will be asking folks to complete that same day and or early evening, so we can synthesize that and share that with the board as part of your discussion of finalist qualifications. We anticipate that you as a board will make a selection decision in open session at the end of that long day and night. However, it has occurred in the past in processes where boards decide they want to take a bit more time and schedule a special meeting to make that announcement, make that decision. And so we operate at the will of the board, and so that's why I say that's the tentative plan, because it really does depend on your review of candidates and your comfort level in terms of moving forward.
I just wanted to conclude with a reminder that you shared with us the importance of transparency and engagement. And we have certainly done our due diligence and have just so appreciated everyone's openness, willingness to share. A reminder that through the engagement process, we engaged with, touched, met with, listened to 712 different individuals. And again, from that was summarized in your leadership profile report. And again, we're excited to re-engage staff, students, families, the community at large on the 26th. So much more information to come on how those voices can be heard to inform your final decision. So watch for more information on that, and we're open to any questions you might have for John or for me.
I have one question about when we do the feedback from the community. What does the the time frame for community members to engage with the feedback tool and the turnaround time of what that looks like in order to get a good synthesis of that? So we feel like we have a good pulse of where our community members are lying, and then we can include that in our decision-making process.
Sure. With the schedule on the 26th, let's assume you have 3 finalist candidates. If there were 3, we've scheduled a rotation of activities that includes in the 3rd rotation or the final rotation that evening, the panel interview. There will be a little bit of a buffer between each candidate, so there's a few minutes there. It really does depend on style. We're going to have the form open the whole time. So for those who prefer to share input during the interview, they can. For those who like to hear the whole interview and wait until it's over with, there'd be that little time between if they want to use that. If they'd rather wait until they hear all 3 candidates, there will be about 30 minutes following the last panel interview for folks to weigh in. For the groups that meet with each candidate earlier in the process, again, the Google form surveys that we're going to put together that are really input tools, there will be 1 for each candidate. So the first question will ask, what is your role in the process today? If you're a student, you select student, and then the next 2 questions are open-ended questions. What are the strengths of this candidate? What questions or concerns do you have about this candidate? And so given the nature of those questions, we found that it generally takes someone 5 to 10 minutes to input their thoughts or a summary of their thoughts to those 2 prompts. So feedback we've received is that works, especially if they're thinking in advance that that's what they're going to be asked. So we'll have that live early in the day for folks to take a look at.
Yes, and it's, again, a reminder that it is live throughout the day with school board members' access to that data throughout the day. It may be helpful for you, and we'll go over this in more detail, but to maybe keep up on it, checking as the day goes on before you head into your final interviews that afternoon and evening.
Do we have the form available in other languages, especially in Spanish, as it's the largest minority language we have?
Yeah, we're working on scheduling a planning session this Friday, and we do have a Spanish version we put together. What we like to do with our draft of the Spanish version is have someone who's a Spanish speaker look it over and make sure that our rough translation actually is edited so it's not only clear but also concise and consistent with what we're asking in the English versions. Yes.
And I would add, we would also want to be sensitive to those that may have a technology issue, and we'll have some hard copies available, and that information will come out soon too. Just trying to cover all those bases. Thank you for asking.
For the public, understand, could you give a, very familiar with what you've done and working at, give the public kind of an overview of how you evaluate the candidates, the work you put into that, just so they know that type of work and the information that we're being presented, so they it's approached.
Sure, yeah, we start with recruitment effort and advertising, as you're well aware. It is the calls we receive from prospective candidates as a result of that work. We also will reach out on a recruiting call. Someone who may not be aware that the vacancy was there becomes aware. And so the first step is really informal discussions with folks, and they often really want to know, tell me more about Monroe. Where have they been? What are the priorities in the system right now, which is why we took so much time to listen to you and your stakeholders and develop that leadership profile report. And so that became our answer to many prospective candidate questions regarding, tell me more about this leadership opportunity. The second thing we do is we encourage them to get started with their applications, complete them as they feel ready, but of course by the deadline, and then we carefully review every piece of the application. If anything there raises any questions for us, we're quick to follow up with candidates and find out. For example, if somebody's resume shows a sequential list of experience, but there might be a year missing, we would call the candidate in that case and ask, hey, what happened in 2011-12 school year? We see a gap there. So it's that kind of fine-tooth comb that we go through in terms of application information. With most candidates who appear on paper to be qualified, we conduct a pre-screening interview, we call it. And that's Chris and I, typically in a Zoom video conference, engaging in about a 1-hour conversation with the candidate where we develop some questions for them that we think mirror the leadership profile. And we carefully listen for kind of responses they give. And as you can imagine, with a pool this large, we have a wide range of talent, just like your impressive students said tonight. Some with a lot of experience, a lot of polish on how they interview, and others who are newer to it and not quite as smooth, right? So we capture that kind of vetting information. And then we contact some references to not just look at what's on paper, but to verify and confirm the kind of leader each person is verified by folks familiar with their work. We do go into greater detail with reference checking once we advance candidates to an interview phase. And even after the first round of interviews, we often go deeper with references based on their interview performance. There might be questions or concerns that you as board members have after the first round that you want us to dig into. And then finally, we do an online and social media review for each candidate just to determine whether or not there's anything in that person's background that could be or may be of concern to the school member. It might be a news story, it might be a post in a social media website somewhere. If we find anything like that, we immediately disclose what we found to the candidate, and we provide the candidate an opportunity to give us their explanation of what it is we found. In some cases, we invite them to prepare a written statement that we allow them to include with their application materials, if there is anything like that. And then finally, we found, especially with pools this size, that we sort candidates after we've done all that vetting into 3 tiers. And so your tier 1 candidates are your folks who are in the pool, most qualified, meaning they have most of the comprehensive experiences and qualifications and training that the position requires. And they have very solid references and absolutely nothing in their background that would raise any question. We have tier 2 candidates which does include some strong candidates, but they may have less experience, or they may have a lot of experience in one area, but not as much experience in some of the other areas. And as you know, superintendent is responsible for oversight of all operations and instructional programming, all of it, as well as board relations. So your tier 2 candidates may be folks you want to consider, but they're not as experienced, maybe not as qualified as tier 1. Your tier 3 candidates are typically those with pretty significant red flags. And so we place them there, or they're folks who may have applied but have never served as a school or district leader before. And so we find that they're simply not qualified. So we'll place candidates like that in tier 3. So long answer, but it's a lot of work that we put into this. And we prepare a summary of that information for you as board members.
I was hoping he'd forget one thing that I could add. I was waiting, but
And there's a summary version of that on our website. Thank you so much. All right, do we have any questions? Professor John? Thank you for doing so much work for the Monroe School Board, community, everyone here. Just thank you so much. I know that you've paid close attention and have been very intentional in the search, and so we appreciate all of your hard work. Thank you. Moving on to agenda item 4.01. Is there a motion?
The Monroe School District Board of Directors approved the completion of the Monroe School District Transportation Facility Pavement Rehabilitation Project.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second that the Monroe School District Board of Directors approve the completion of the Monroe School District Transportation Facility Pavement Rehabilitation Project. Discussion?
I just want to say thank you to Victor. I know how hard you work in putting these together and going through bids and working with the contractors to try to make sure that things run smoothly and keeping us apprised of any hiccups or change orders or anything like that that may come along. And I know it's not an easy job, and I know you don't always get thanked enough for what you do, but thank you. I truly appreciate it. The pavement is beautiful. I think a lot of our employees that work there on our buses and that drive our buses are incredibly thankful. They now have a much safer parking lot to walk through to do their jobs, and thank you very much.
I want to echo that and the fact that this is like doing a project on an old home that turns into a way bigger issue than you ever thought as soon as you dig into it, literally. And but I appreciate the dedication you've had to see not just this, but all of our projects through. When we have questions on them also, I appreciate you being ready to help us explain whether it's cost analysis, different bids, those types of things. Thank you for staying on top of so much. There's a lot of reading, a lot of research that goes back to that. And I appreciate what you do for this. So and your team, please thank them for us.
Thank you for doing it with a smile, Vic. You are one of the most positive, just like, you know, good energy guys. I just come into the office sometimes. Let's see how Vic's doing, huh? Let's go say hi to Vic.
Only if you were a kook.
I know.
Come on,
It's
Vic.
the only thing, Vic. Thank you, Vic, for completing that. We know how what a beautiful opportunity that was. And so thank you so much. It looks beautiful. Okay. So there is a motion on the table. All in favor, raise your hand. The agenda item has passed 4-0. Moving on to agenda item 4.02, consideration of donations. Is there a motion?
I move that the Monroe School District Board of Directors accepts, approves the donations received.
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion and a second that the Monroe School District Board of Directors accepts and approves the donations received. Discussion?
Okay. I just want to thank Linda and Terry again, the owners of Grocery Outlet, for partnering with me to come up with
schools and their libraries for every purchase made at Grocery Outlet. It's $155, the first check. I'm hoping that people will start to use those cards more, please, so that we can get more of that money and give back and make sure that we've got some excellent books in our libraries for our students. So, yep, just another big thank you to them. Oh, yeah, I'll go ahead and read off the rest of the donations too. So we have Grocery Outlet, $155. We have Pilchuck Audubon Society is $500 for the purpose of the Butterfly Life Cycle Project for a student that attends Chain Lake Elementary School. And then we have Monroe Performing Arts Boosters. They donated $300 for band trips, which is amazing. Thank all of you so much for investing in our kids and giving back.
Just want to say thank you to our community. It's very generous that just people just give, not just of their finances, but their time. We have some amazing, amazing community members. We just love our students so much. That's awesome.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. All in favor, raise your hand. The agenda item has passed 4-0. Moving on to agenda item 5.06, the approval of the superintendent consent agenda. We have on there Chain Lake Elementary sump pump construction completions, the Homer School District for ROTC programs, accounts payable vouchers, human resources report, and payroll. Is there a motion?
Move the Monroe School District Board of Directors accept and approve all items as listed and presented in the superintendent consent agenda dated January 9th, 2023.
Is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second that the Monroe School District Board of Directors accept and approve all items as listed and presented in the superintendent consent agenda dated January 9th, 2023. Discussion. All in favor, raise your hand. The agenda item is passed 4-0. Moving on to agenda item 6.04, the approval of the board consent agenda. Is there a motion?
I move that the Monroe School District Board of Directors approve all items as listed and presented in the board consent agenda dated January 9th, 2023.
Is there a second? Second. There's a motion and a second that the Monroe School District Board of Directors approve all items as listed and presented in the board consent agenda dated January 9th, 2023. Discussion. All in favor, raise your hand. The agenda item has passed 4-0. Moving on to 7.01, board reports and or comments.
Okay. So there were a couple things. All right. So first off, I wanted to draw attention to the fact that the VFW, right, they had their nominate your teacher. They ran this back in October, as well as the student essay. Well, for the second year in a row, we have had a Monroe Middle School teacher win Teacher of the Year for Washington State through the VFW. And this year, I would love to give a huge congratulations to Michelle Bannon at Park Place Middle School for being our Teacher of the Year. We are so incredibly proud of the work that you are doing, and thank you for your commitment to our students and all that you give on a daily basis for them. This is an incredible recognition. Yeah, and we celebrate with you. We are so happy. So, and this is also just another reminder of why it is important for us, and especially I think for us as school board directors, to nominate those teachers from both middle school and high school. Not enough, I think, are nominated. So I just think this next year when this comes out, we need to make it a point. Each one of us, especially up here, needs to nominate a middle school and high school, and those in the community, please participate because it does matter. 2 years in a row, maybe we can make it 3. This would be amazing. Shooting for next year. Another thing that I wanted to draw attention to, I just wanted to thank the Monroe PD for not charging us for the month of November for our SRO. That is a huge deal, and they did that for us, and so I want to take the time to acknowledge and thank them for that. That really means a lot to us. That was huge, especially in light of just everything that we were going through at that time and trying to get levy passed, and so thank you very, very much. Another thing that I wanted to bring attention to was I noticed there's House Bill 1071. So this pertains to what we were talking to last week. It's been pre-filed, and this would allocate funding, if passed, to fully fund one SRO on each campus, which I think for us would be amazing to be able to add a second SRO into what it is that we have, so that as Craig is teaching safety classes at the middle schools, that we, do not have our high school left unattended by an SRO, but then also that we have a second one to be able to travel to other schools and make sure that we are keeping our kids safe. There was also talk of another bill that would fund, when I had conversations with Senator Hawkins, I went to the meet and greet at the Monroe City Council on Friday night, and I had a conversation with him about funds that could potentially be allocated to retrofit older buildings to make them secure campuses, which I think would be amazing, especially for our district. We do have a few buildings that need that. And so that was a conversation that I had with him. I will be watching these couple of bills particularly closely, just to sort of see what happens with those, because it would directly affect and pertain to what we are doing here. So yeah, exactly. So I'm really excited to talk about those. The other thing I wanted to talk about, I got to go to the boys basketball game on Saturday night after I watched my three little men go through and do their basketball games with the Boys and Girls Club. I hear that Hudson and Kobe's team won. So they were pretty excited. Their jerseys this year are absolutely incredible. They brought them home and I was like, oh my gosh, these are mini junior NBA jerseys. But anyway, so after all that, I took my older boys, my two oldest, to the game because I said, I want you to see what a real basketball game looks like. And I took them, and oh my gosh, I felt like I aged 10 years watching this game. So the game was, we were ahead, and then the Spartans, they made a shot, and we were behind by 2. And then Steve on our team, with 15 seconds left on the clock, makes a 3-pointer, and we're ahead by 1. And then we foul the other team. They make their first free throw. They miss their second. And so then we're tied. But then we go and we get fouled and we make the next free throw and we win. And it was just like the last minute of that game went on. And my kids were like, "Mom, you're screaming so loud." It was so exciting. So exciting. Our boys are undefeated. Oh my goodness. And it was absolutely, go Bearcats. It was absolutely incredible to watch. Those boys played their heart and soul, and man, the 3-pointers that they were throwing down, that was some good basketball. So I would encourage anybody, go watch our winter sports, go support our kids. It's incredible. It's a great night out. It's something to do with your kids. It gets you out of the house basically. And it's for a very, very good cause. So yes, go Bearcats. I think that's all I have.
I'm also excited because Michelle Bannon, who survived Judah Campbell, which is my son, as a middle schooler, as a 6th grader, 7th grader, she did a wonderful job with my son, which is great. But she is also putting on the Great Potato Feed. Have you guys signed up for your time slots? Come on. All right, I'm gonna be there. You judging? All right. I got my email this morning, right? Okay, good. We gotta go in and she's putting on the Great Potato Feed. So Chuck, have you signed up for your time slot? Can you sign up for your time slot? Mention it right now here in the board meeting. Check your email. Holly emailed you. But just excited that she does that, invites us into that, and for our building leaders and for our teachers, we love to be able to get in your classrooms and your buildings and see the students, and so and be involved with them. Thank you, Michelle, for opening that opportunity to us and just letting us get in and be with kids. That is one of the best parts of being able to do this, is seeing the impact of our students, having our students come and share in board meetings, which I know can be a nerve-wracking thing as well. It's a lot, but it just shows we have incredible staff. We have incredible students in the room. So those opportunities are awesome.
I had a couple things, but I keep looking to my left and seeing that Sarah's gone. I'm really sad. It almost makes me want to cry. She's not here, so I'm just gone down for that. So questions related to work. Dismiss it.
Well, Director Campbell stole my announcement with the potato. I have it in my calendar. Saved it as soon as I could. It's the potato bake-off judging. I will be there. I love potatoes. They are both gluten and dairy-free, in case you are wondering. So that was one of my shares. And then the other one is actually, it was a reminder because we got our WASDA direct. So this is right here, Miss Erin Jones, and she's an amazing speaker, but she will be coming to little old Monroe, January 11th, and the Monroe Equity Council, or Equity Community, excuse me, is hosting the event. It will actually be here, right, room 103, right here, January 11th at 6 p.m. And she is the author of Bridges to Heal Us. Really neat book. I actually met her at WASDA and brought home a signed copy for my daughter, who then took it to school and showed everyone, and then her teacher and she took a picture together. It was super cute. But January 11th, I just love engaging and diving into and learning new things. And I think it's so neat that the person who is on the cover of our WASDA magazine will be here in like 2 days. And I believe everyone, you can, there's stuff online, or you can Zoom in as well if you can't be here in person. And Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I wish health and wellness to all of you, and like joy, health, wellness, joy. I feel like those are good. Okay. What is it? And drink your water. Chuck knows. Drink your water. Drink your water. Get at least 8 hours of sleep. Okay. Enough of that. All right, we are now moving on to agenda item 8.01, executive session. Our board will recess into executive session to evaluate the qualifications of applicants for public employment, where the slate of applicants and their qualifications will be presented by HYA and discussed. Interview questions will also be finalized as part of this discussion. It is currently 6:10 p.m. We will be in executive session for approximately 90 minutes, and we'll return at, what's the math on that? What's the math on that? What's the math on that? 7:40. That's more than, that's 8 p.m. Thank you, Mr. Shell, math, Monroe High School, I'm sorry. Okay. I will be back at 7:40 p.m. and I will update everyone as to our actual return time if that is not it. Okay. All right. Thank you. The board is still in executive session. Got it. Board is still in executive session. It is currently 7:40. We will extend by 50 minutes and be back at 8:30. Okay, it is 8:30 p.m. The board is honored to have such a high quality group of leaders and submit applications to become our leaders who submitted applications to become our next superintendent. We thank each of them for the significant time they invested to prepare their materials, and each of us spent significant time reviewing these materials beginning late last week. Our search associates from HYA listened carefully to our discussion of candidate qualifications and will be using our input to extend invitations to candidates for our first round of interviews, which will be held on Thursday, January 20th. While these semifinalist interviews will be held in closed session, the board anticipates the announcement of finalist candidates following the interviews on January 20th, and will be hosting a second final round of interviews on Thursday, January 26th. The finalist interview process will include an opportunity for public observation of a community panel interview and a final online input opportunity for observers to share input regarding each finalist with the board. It is now 8:31 p.m. and tonight's meeting is adjourned.